Welcome to the OurGame Team of the Week, brought to you by Slattery Sullivan Insurances in Nina. Call 067 56705 and you'll get 10% off new business quotes with the reference code OurGame. So it's all about the Team of the Week, and starting off in goals, I think there was only one place to go, and that was Nicky Quaid. Unbelievably difficult conditions down at Páirc Uí Chaoimh as Limerick battered Tipperary, and he was as solid as house. I think you could probably look at some of the other goalkeepers and say that they merit mention here. Maybe they did, but I just feel one or two made a few mistakes in different games, and Nicky Quaid was very, very solid throughout. In the full back line, Cathal Barrett, Conor Prunty, and the other cornerback is Shane Mcnulty. So I think on a day when Tipperary were getting beaten from pillar to post, Cathal Barrett is a player that just came out with ball after ball. And I know you could probably look around at other teams and say, well, maybe somebody in the Galway lineup, maybe Fintan Burke, who wore number 3, but obviously played out in the half back line because he doesn't get into the team here either. Maybe things could have been rejigged to get him in, but it just felt that Barrett, sometimes the measure of a player is how well they're doing when everything is going to pot around them. And that's why I think it was difficult to leave the Holy Cross Ballycattle man out of here. Conor Prunty, really, really good at full back. He always generally picks up the big man that you're going to be playing against. He was really solid against Cork, and obviously Cork's challenge was fairly watery at best, but Conor Prunty looks like the real deal at full back, and no doubt a player that Liam Cahill absolutely loves. Shane Mcnulty was excellent. He was on Alan Cadigan certainly for a lot of it, and Cadigan was taken off, got on a lot of ball. He's a cornerback that's improving all the time, and someone that's worth keeping an eye out for. Now the half back line, I've gone for Callum Lyons, who scored a goal, and he was able to knock over a point as well from wing back for Waterford. Obviously throughout the year when we were talking about best young players, best wing back, all those different series that we did, we talked about Callum Lyons ad nauseum almost. That at some stage you're almost fearing bigging him up too much and almost setting him up for a fall. But that performance against Cork and Thurles really showed that this lad is ready to step up. He's just a serious athlete. He can hurl, he'll run all day. And his application seems second to none. Tadhg de Burke at centre back, he seems like he's getting even bigger up top. He's just a monster of a man, and obviously he's able to move. His sidestep is unbelievable. His anticipation of where the ball is going to break, his first touch, his ability to carry it out and stay composed on the ball, just an excellent player. He's reached that 2017 level again, and if he keeps going the way he is, Waterford are going to be hard to beat. And of course they're going to come up against Limerick in the Munster final, and the first Limerick back that's kind of named here, and you could definitely make a fair cause to put in one or two more, but if you were going to pick only one back, it would have to be Diarmaid Byrnes, because the amount of ball he came out with, snapping ball, driving ball up the field, he's just a really complete half back, and I don't think there was any doubt but he had to get into this team. In midfield I went with Jamie Byrne and Will Donoghue. Now Jamie Byrne, I mean, again, I talk about Tadhg de Burke returning to 2017 levels. Jamie Byrne the same. I would have argued at the time that Jamie Byrne was the hurler of the year and should have been, and he's just, the way he moved around the pitch against Cork, the way things are linking up for the team, what a proposition they are. But he'll come up against Will Donoghue in the Munster final, and the Napier man, he was imperious against Tip yet again. And I think anyone who was fearful of Tipperary's prospects down at Páirc Uí Chaoimh, as soon as they saw the team named out, it was because of guys like Will O'Donoghue, who are so physically imposing that you did sort of feel like this is a guy who's going to twist the screw on you, and he very much did for Limerick, and he was really, really good throughout. And the fact that they rejigged the team, by putting Darragh Donovan back to midfield, which is his native position, put Kyle Hayes wing back, albeit he's underage, been a half back, and threw Cian Lynch back into the forwards, it just shows they didn't miss a beat. And so having someone like Will O'Donoghue to anchor midfield and score a couple of points as well from distance on a horrible day, I think he was certainly worth the nod here. Half forward line, Gearóid Hegarty, who it almost feels like he's in the man of the match conversation in every game he plays. So he won a penalty. He put Tipperary on the back foot. The way he was just running away from his markers, and it looks like he's not even going full speed, but he just pumps those legs, and there's no way of keeping with him. Just beside him, Cian Lynch. I mean, this was one of the key moves that John Kiley made, moving his playmaker into the half-forward line. And the amount of ball that just came short to Lynch, and he'd take a second or two and pop it off to a runner coming off the shoulder. He's just so composed in possession. And to be able to do that too when the weather was absolutely septic was just really, really impressive. Definitely have to have him in the team. TJ Reid, bit of a one-man show for Kilkenny in their win over Dublin. He set up 3 goal chances, 2 of which were taken. He also scored a goal himself. And that sort of torpedoed leg action from Alan Nolan, goalkeeper, I'd be a little bit concerned about that. There wasn't a good replay angle, but just be worried if TJ Reid was taken out with a tackle like that. What would Kilkenny's chances be? Also, at the end of the game, when everything was going wrong for Kilkenny, a long ball went in, and Reid with a beautiful flick down for Alan Murphy to put Kilkenny ahead, and obviously Hugh Lawler then scored the winner after that. So I think those three players were more or less nailed on. But in the inside, this is where I feel a little bit guilty that I didn't get Brian Kincannon into this team somewhere. I thought he was exceptional. I think he's the real deal for Galway this year. I thought that all season, especially after seeing him during the league, but he's stepped up in a big way. Conor Whalen is a bit of a force of nature, and I think the amount of hassle he caused Wexford in one-on-one situations, I couldn't leave him out, and he's up there with the best inside forwards in the country, and he could make hay all summer. Aaron Gillan put up a nice little score again for Limerick, and just so much of what they do, like obviously I talked about how they play the ball around at midfield, and you have people like Dermot Burns, Will Donoghue, Darragh O'Donovan, Keane Lynch, guys who can pop it in. But if there's no danger on the inside, then teams might be able to press out a little bit further and maybe put more pressure on out the field. But when you've Aaron Gillan inside, I mean, he's just, if there's space there, his movement is so good that he's going to punish you. And a few of the Tipperary backs had a go on him, and nobody had any real joy. How he managed to pilfer that ball from Ronan Maher and boot it into the net is anyone's guess. But just such a good player, and just delivers for Limerick game after game after game. So he had to be in there. And I think Eamon Dillon, and this is a bit like with Cathal Barrett, who I've named cornerback. He had to get in the team here, because what he did in coming on and scoring 4 points for Dublin is like, he did it when the team was absolutely struggling. And he scored 4 points against a Kilkenny team that's had the edge over Dublin for most of their history, really. But what he did was really, really impressive. So I think that he had to be named in that team. Let me know what you think. I'm sure not everyone will agree. Certainly not. I'll be accused of bias or hating your county or whatever it might be. But certainly that's not the case. So let me know what your team will be. Brought to you again by Slattery Sullivan Insurances in Nina. Call 067 56705 and use the reference code OurGame, and you'll get 10% off all new business quotes.